Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Labor Day. It is Labor Day, it is a holiday, so it is a no makeup day. It is a day to try and connect, to be filled with joy, to, there are things I want to share with you today. There are things I want to share with you today. Let's see. I wanted to share with you Yasmin. She shared something. Yasmin Bolin, who's our moonology expert, she shared something in her email. And again, if you're not on her email list, you definitely want to try and get on that. So this is hi. So this came through yesterday, and it just was one of those things where like. Okay. This September is one of those months you'll look back on and know that something has shifted. Now, for a lot of people that I've been working with, that has been in August, that things had definitely shifted. Where she's saying that yesterday, Saturn moved back into Pisces. Saturn is the teacher planet, bringing lessons that can feel tough, but ultimately set us up for stronger ground. Pisces is a sign of healing, mysticism, and spiritual connection. We put this together and you get a healing reset in the month of September. Now, I thought this was really amazing because you have this Saturn, this teaching of really the thing that came through to me was about this authentic self, was about being true to ourselves, and then at the same time, this spiritual healing and this allowing. And one of the things that has been coming through a lot has been, and I heard this, you're hilarious, and I heard this a long time ago. I heard the woman who does a podcast called The Too Much Woman, and it wasn't a podcast, let me take it back. She created this, she was a speaker, and she had this video that went viral about being this too much woman. And she had spoken at an event that she thought was just going to be this like little teeny event, and this thing went viral, and like millions of people have seen this thing. It's called The Too Much Woman, and I mean, she's just fantastic. And I had kind of forgotten about it, but there's been a lot of stuff shifting, and a lot of stuff, there's been like, August was this month of like purge. And it's interesting because it wasn't just me, it was people, all these people that were coming to me for, clients. It was so much about purge. And I just saw this pattern unfolding. And so when I saw Yasmin's email yesterday, and I was listening to, I was listening to my friend Elias Patras, who some of you know, we love Elias. He was doing a podcast, his podcast, and he was with, this woman was his guest, who is let me just look this up really quick, I forget her name. Too Much Woman video. Gina Hatsis, that's who it is. And so if you, and I'll even just put the link in the comments, because she was just amazing. No, we don't want to play the video right now, but she was absolutely just amazing in her, this video, if you haven't seen it. But what's so interesting was, of course, the timing, right? Of course, the timing, because her whole idea is that she was too much, too emotional, too, loud, too boisterous, to speak your mind, too, whatever it was, right? Sometimes we're just too much for people. Maybe we're, too shy. Maybe we're too loud. Maybe we laugh too loud. Maybe we hug too much. Maybe we, whatever it is, maybe we speak our minds too much. And so it was so interesting because I have noticed, as I said, in the month of August, I was seeing a lot of clients who were having the same kind of thing, that they were being kind of squeezed into situations where the stuff that comes out, I am, for some reason, fascinated by frosting the cake videos on social media, where these people create these designs of frosting the thing, where they squeeze the piping bag and these magical creations come out. I think it's a talent. But sometimes and my husband and I love to watch Bake Off, the Great British Baking Show, hilarious. fabulous. So, but right now we've been watching like the celebrity edition, which I didn't know that there was one. But you get these celebrities who get the piping bag, and they're all ready to like extrude the piping, and they realize they didn't hold on to the other end, and stuff goes gloobing out the other side. And that's how it has felt. That's how August has felt, is that we had such a grip on the thing to try and make this perfect thing in August that we didn't realize we didn't have a grip on the other side, or we weren't gripping it the right way, and all the stuff just went bloop. Okay, and so that has been this theme for August. And so when I saw that on August 31st, that Saturn was moving into Pisces, and that, hello, my dear friend, hello, Debbie, so happy to see you. So when I saw that Saturn had moved into Pisces, and this was all about like this healing time and giving ourselves this grace to let Saturn teach us that these things that have happened or are happening to allow ourselves to expand. And sometimes we gotta like drop and make a mess. Sometimes we've got to make a mess before we can clean up the thing and find the thing we're really looking for, the thing we're supposed to be learning. And so Saturn's lessons can feel really tough, but they do set us up for a better way. And sometimes, you know, we've heard me say it, there's a blessing in all the things, right? But sometimes we got to go through the horse poop to find the pony. And if you've been with me for a while, you have heard me tell the horse poop pony story. But you know, this has really felt like a lot of people looking through the horse poop, because one of the things that was happening is that we have been allowing, okay? And this is not, I see it in the politics, I see it in the political landscape, but this isn't about politics. It's a greater thing that's happening, and I don't mean greater like so great, I mean like a bigger thing that's happening that we have been having. This permitting. We are allowing things to happen around us. We are tolerating. Tolerating is a better word. That we are tolerating things in our lives that maybe we wouldn't have a year or two ago. Or maybe that these things that we're tolerating because we're coming to this place where, you know what? I need to get to the end of this, where I've had enough of the crap I've been tolerating, and I'm ready to say, you know, no more. And that's where this too much woman comes in, where we get to a point where we realize, and it's not just woman, okay, it just happened to be that was the name of her talk, okay, that we get to this point where we say, you know, enough. And that really has felt like what Saturn and August have been preparing us for. So if you have been finding yourself like firing people out of your life, whether it's the yard guy or a friend or a boundary. I, you know, was talking with another friend who kind of needs to fire their father, unfortunately, because there's just some serious emotional abuse that's going on in there. And we can still love these people, okay? We do not have to fire people with venom and malice. And this is one of the lessons, because sometimes we get pushed into those corners where we finally react like, right? And so the lesson with this is we don't have to wait until we're pushed into a corner to be able to say, enough, okay? And we don't have to, and if we get pushed into a corner where the claws come out, we can say, you know, I didn't handle that great, and I'm gonna try and do better, okay? If you can apologize, then, you know, great, because we can do that too. But sometimes there's not an apology to be made, and sometimes there's not an apology that would be received. And those things are okay too, okay? My favorite blogger wrote a blog post about finally stepping into your power, not because you're not too much. And she is among my favorite bloggers, indeed. So definitely check out the link at chriswrites.com/don'tbesmall. This is the time, okay? And I'm looking around and I'm going, what is going on? Like, why does it feel like there's all this angst? And I realized that it's not angst. It's a pruning. It's a clearing of the decks. It's letting go of stuff that we've held on to because we felt like we were supposed to. We had our lawn guys since my lawn guy was 15 because he played soccer with my son, they are now 28 and 29 years old, or 27 and 28 years old. And so we needed new lawn people, and that was what his father did. So we hired them. And that was however many years ago. And complacency can breed this, what is it, complacency can breed contempt. And what we allow and what we tolerate and what we permit can creep in on us in little ways until one day we look at it and go, why am I paying for this? Why am I accepting this? Why am I tolerating this? Why am I even participating in this? In whatever it is, right? And so we came to a mutual, like, they needed to move on, we needed to move on, we got new lawn guys, yay, everybody's happy, okay? So, but it is this awareness that we sometimes don't see the changes that need to be made until the universe slaps us in the head. And you've heard me say this, right? Where we've talked about the universe is going, hello, hello, we're trying to get your attention, hello, hello. And when we're not paying attention, that is, you know, when we get the cosmic bitch slap. So, you know, that we would like to avoid the cosmic bitch slap. But when we are not paying attention, guess what happens? So if you have experienced the cosmic bitch slap recently, or maybe you have been the slapper, the slappee, slap adjacent, maybe slap avoidant, whatever it is, there is something that's going on right now that is really trying to get us, and this is Saturn as the teacher, that is trying to get us to say, hey, wake up to what you are permitting in your space, in your life. Where are the boundaries? Where are the changes? Sometimes we don't make those changes because, oh man, that's going to be a hassle. I mean, I got to fire this guy, I got to find a new guy, and I just got to, and you know, and I realized that that was sort of the complacency that we had come into. And yet we teach our children in our house, hey, hush, that they should never feel trapped by a job or a mortgage because there's always something else. Okay, there's always another way. Okay, you could get a different job, right? Maybe get the job before you quit the one you have, unless you've got, you know, a savings to lean on. But you can get another job. You can refinance a house. I watched my former neighbor of the house next door to me, like 4 owners back. That house has had a lot of transition. But when we first moved in, this family had moved in about a month before we did, and he was a mortgage broker. And I watched this guy remortgage his house to the point where, and I don't know what else was going on, and I wish him only good things, but to the point where they finally like walked away from the house because he owed the IRS like $150,000. I don't know how you owe the IRS $150,000. I don't want to know how you owe that thing. But what was so interesting was that he had maybe taken that idea a little too far, that you're not trapped by a mortgage because you can always refinance in some way. And the idea is not specific to a job and a mortgage. The idea is that if there's something in your life that's not working for you, you have the power to change it. And that is the message of Saturn coming into Pisces, okay? So, see, Stephen, I'm so sorry that it went bad, but I'm so glad you're here. And maybe this is, you know, the right message for you. So Saturn is this teacher that says, listen, we need to examine what it is that we're tolerating. We get to examine what it is we're allowing in our lives and who we're allowing and where those places are, those things that are starting to feel prickly to us. If you ever have had like an outfit on that like a wool sweater and it just feels kind of, we can feel that way with people and with situations and things like that. So this is the time to examine those things in your life that are feeling like, this just isn't the right thing for me. And we then kind of push it aside and say, oh yeah, but it is what it is. And this is the wake up from Saturn that's going on right now, is saying it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to stay wearing the itchy wool sweater in whatever that represents for you. And so if things are feeling prickly and itchy for you, and I hope it's not me. I'm not the itchy one that's making itchy in your lives. But if something is not working for you, the universe is giving us this permission right now with Saturn as the teacher, holding up that mirror to say, hey, listen, these are the things that are going on. Can you please pay attention so we don't have to smack you in the head? Because when we get it, then all of these other things start to pop up as confirmations, okay? So I got this, I have to share this. I got this beautiful amethyst chip necklace cylinder in the mail the other day from my incredible friend Rose Gafter, and I have to shout her out. And I wish that I could shout her out in a way that says, you go to her website and buy one of these and support her incredible work. because she's an amazing human being and a tremendous artist. But I was texting back and forth with her, and I asked her for something, and she sent, in addition to what I had asked for, she sent me this as a very unexpected gift in the mail. And those things are divinely inspired. Those things happen when the universe is saying, hey, we saw that, you got that one, you did it, you got that one, okay, good job, let's move on to the next thing. What else do you need to like clear and clean out of your space? What else is going on? Because there was a series of things that had happened that was like, okay, and then there was a series of things that happened as we fixed those things. There was a series of things that happened like this, okay? So the universe is always talking to us. We're the ones not listening. And so right now, Saturn is a powerhouse, okay? Saturn is a powerhouse planet, okay? And Saturn is into Pisces, which is a water sign, which is emotions and healing and growth. And so this is what she says, Jasmine, the moonology expert who I love. Saturn is the teacher planet, bringing lessons that can feel tough, but ultimately set us on stronger ground. Pisces is the sign of healing, mysticism, and spiritual connection. Put the two together, and this is what we get this month, is a healing reset, okay? One last chance to release what no longer serves and to lay firmer foundations for your well-being. I will copy and paste this and put it on the page, okay? But it is so important for us to understand not only that these things that are happening are trying to get our attention, but when we do pay attention and we take action to take back control of our own lives and take back our power. So really take a look at who are you letting into your inner space? Who are you letting into your head? Do you really care what that person thinks about you? Do you know that person? Do you ever see that person? That person is not a friend. Is that a person a friend? Like, we need to ask these questions because we can get caught up in this cycle of rumination and judging and like beating up on ourselves because we let the frosting squirt out the wrong end of the tube, and because we got pushed up against the wall and little claws came out, instead of saying, wait a minute, do I really care what that person, group, whatever thinks about me if I am moving forward in a way that is because I've been tolerating too much stuff? That it is now time for me to say, I'm not tolerating, and I'm going to examine where am I spending my money, my energy, my time, and how does that feel? Because if I'm spending my money, my energy, my time, my emotions with something that feels like an itchy wool sweater, we need to re-examine that. And this is this month that says this is the time that we're doing that. Okay? So, well, Brenda, I know you're a Pisces. You're a water girl. I know you're a water girl, my beach girl, right? So this is a time to really re-examine those things. And you know, again, we don't have to be rude or mean, but it may go that way. And if it does, we take a breath and we say, you know, that wasn't me being at my best self. Because we all have those moments where we are not at our best selves. And we say, you know, I'm going to give myself grace. I'm going to apologize to the person if I can. Sometimes we cannot, okay? If you cut somebody off in traffic, you can, sorry, you know, hey, shush. We do the best we can. And then we say out to the universe, I am sorry I screwed that up. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for forgiving me. Please send something good to the person that I just cut off in traffic, whatever it is, okay? To be able to give ourselves grace so that we're not ruminating on it like, oh God, I suck, I can't believe, just, oh man. Because we do that. And that just tamps our energy down instead of saying, what is this trying to show me? And when we stop for a second, it says, oh, this is trying to show me that I need to take this away. This needs to not be in my life. This needs to go away. I need to find something different, whatever that is. So this time, this moon cycle, this is this time that we are in that first quarter to say, as we're going up into the full moon, right? So we're right at the beginning of this cycle to be able to say, what is it that is feeling like that itchy wool sweater in my life that I need to reevaluate? And just know that if you cut something or someone loose, ask yourself, do I really care what that person thinks? Like, are they part of my circle where they even get a vote about my life? And two, know that whatever that is, there is something else that's going to be ready to come in and fill the void. I walked outside my house. Do you know how many lawn guys there are in my neighborhood? I mean, there's got to be like 15 different companies that are doing the lawns in my neighborhood. So we got new lawn guys. It took about 10 minutes. I mean, I walked outside and the one guy said, "Oh, I'm retiring." I said, "That's wonderful. I wish you well." And then I went to my neighbor and he said, "Here's the phone number for my guy. I love him." I said, "Terrific." They came, we talked, hired, same price, fabulous. Done. But we can make these things, we can avoid making these changes in our lives because we may feel like it's going to be too much hassle. And so we are willing to live with the scritchy sweater. And so what Saturn is trying to say to us right now is stop being willing to live with the itchy sweater. Okay. Let's talk about some animal cards. So this is Stephen Farmer's Messages from the Animal Spirits. Now, I had a very interesting and not fun experience on Saturday. A lot of you know that I volunteer at the state park near my home to protect manatees in the water when they come into an area where there's going to be people. We have state park, it's part of the manatee preserve, and we get a lot of manatees come in, and I love to be out there on the water in the kayak, although 8 hours in the kayak is a lot for a butt to endure. So, hello, Meredith. It is wonderful to be out there, and the manatees always have this amazing spirit and this amazing message, this amazing reminder. Their spirit energy is about slowing down and about enjoying the journey and being at peace with where you are. Except on this particular day, in the very crowded water of Labor Day weekend, came one girl, two boys, and two very horny boys that were creating an extremely difficult and dangerous situation. And I was so, jumpy cards, and I was so challenged trying to make sure we kept everyone safe because these manatees are, over 1,000 pounds each, and the males were really big, that they were enjoying the journey, but we wanted to make sure that nobody else got hurt. And so it really, that happened on Saturday, and then Sunday came this message from Yasmin about Saturn and Pisces, and I thought, oh my gosh. So here we are, here's another place where it's showing us, what is it are we tolerating? What is it that where the, hey, go along, get along message of the manatees is suddenly turned into an extremely dangerous situation of 4,000 pounds of animals trying to, get it on in a small space with a bunch of swimmers. So it is important that we are hearing, and thankfully no one got hurt, but it's important that we are hearing. Now, it's also important because here's the other thing I learned, and unfortunately I was the only person in the water that day, and 3 manatees, not a big deal, but 3 active manatees, totally different story. We can't control everything. We can't control everything. These are wild animals. We cannot control everything. And all we can do is the best that we can do. Okay? And sometimes the best that we can do is step back and let a situation play out. Okay? So there's a lot of information here about what are we tolerating, what changes, like where can we make those changes to get that scritchy wool sweater and take it away, and knowing that sometimes we got to take that scritchy wool sweater and say, you know what? It's got to go. I'm donating it to somebody who can use it better. Okay? And that letting go of those things is okay, and cleaning and clearing, and that this is the time to do it. And the reminder that we can't control everything. We're not meant to control everything. We're not supposed to do that. We are not God. We're not omnipotent. We are not any of those things. We were never meant to control anything, or everything, rather. We're here for the journey. And the manatees show us that, but sometimes you got to get out of the way. Okay? So as I shuffled the animal spirit cards, two fell out. One is the mouse that says, you're overlooking some important details, so pay close attention to what's going on. And, it's the thing of like, you can't make this stuff up, right? So what is it we're tolerating? What is it that we're allowing, that we're not paying attention to what is causing the itchy sweater? The mouse, literally, it says, you are overlooking some important details, so pay closer attention to what's going on. That's amazing. I mean, I want to say that's crazy, but it's not crazy, and I don't want to, I try to be careful using that word. But I always say the cards are little eavesdroppers. So here's the cardinal. The other card was the cardinal. And the cardinal says, the polarities of your spiritual pursuits and your physical pleasures are out of balance. So do whatever is necessary to bring them back into equilibrium. And this is the message of Pisces, right? This is Saturn and Pisces. Saturn is saying, we're going to teach you some hard lessons so you can get back connected with spirit. This is exactly what's going on, okay? The polarities of your spiritual pursuits and physical pleasures are out of balance. Do whatever is necessary to bring them back into equilibrium. What is it we are tolerating? And let's say we're going to make a change, knock it off. Give ourselves permission to say, you know what? This is not working for me. Okay? Give yourself permission to cut the cord, cut the string, unplug it, let it go. Cue Idina Menzel. Let it go. This is that time. And I want to say this because we've talked about letting go of what no longer serves your highest and best good. We talk about that all the time. And I don't mean to belittle it, but this is more important because this is about what we are tolerating and allowing in our energy, in our circles. This isn't like, oh, it doesn't serve my highest and best good to keep going with this long person. No, this is what we are allowing in our inner circle on a day-to-day basis that is causing this itchy sweater. Okay? And so this is asking you not to take the airy-fairy look. This is asking you to take a very grounded look at what is going on in your life that is creating this itchy wool sweater sensation for you. That this is the moment, the month, the planetary alignment that says now is the time to make those changes. Okay? And that you are not stuck. You are not stuck. Okay? Because even I said it in my own, well, you know, his dad and they've been our yard guys for so long and da-da-da. I'm like, bollocks! Get a new lawn guy! Like, whatever that is, you're not stuck. Okay? Now, let me play the other side of the coin here for a second because there are things we can't control. And so there may be things that we might say, well, I'm stuck there. All right, valid. Totally valid, okay? But at the same time, when we can't deal with this thing over here, we can deal with this thing over here, okay? And so if I can't move that mountain today, I'm going to go look at what I can move. And so probably most of us have more than one thing that's causing itchy wool sweater in our lives that we can say, well, I can't really deal with that right now, but I can try and deal with this, okay? And so we start where we can start, and we make the changes that we can make. Because what happens is it builds momentum like a snowball going down a hill. And before you know it, that other thing that maybe you couldn't resolve has a solution that is either presented itself or possibly even has resolved itself. Okay? Because that's how the universe works. When we get in motion and we start to work and say, I see, I need to change this situation, and I'm willing to go and do that, the universe says, great, let's help you with the other thing. Okay? And it goes like that. Okay? All right, let's see which archangel is with us today. I love the Kyle Gray archangels. I love checking with the archangels. I really appreciate that they are with us. I need to remind myself to check in with the archangels on a more daily basis for me personally, because I really love knowing who I'm collaborating with on any given day. And sometimes I think I know I forget to do that. And so if that's you too, we can all say that we can make that change for ourselves. And it's a simple question of which archangel am I collaborating with today? What do I need? Because they know what I need, okay, right? My favorite question, what do I need to know today for my highest and best good, right? So they know, but what am I, what archangel is collaborating with me today? This is Gabrielle, Divine Emergence. It's time to be seen. Don't be afraid of your power and gifts. Don't be afraid of your power and your gifts. You seriously, you cannot make this stuff up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I can't elaborate. I'm just going to say thank you. This is why I love working with archangels, because they know what we need. And we literally just talked about this. The polarities of our spiritual pursuits from the Cardinal, the Mouse that says you're overlooking important things, Saturn and Pisces that's telling us we got to reclaim our power. This is time for us to, take off the woolly, itchy sweater. And this is Divine Emergence. Come out from underneath the itchy, woolly sweater and say, what is it that reclaim your strength, reclaim your time, reclaim your gifts, reclaim. It's time to be seen. Okay, it is time to speak and say, what do I need? Where am I going? What's going on? What changes do I need to make things better for me and my circle? Because here's the thing, when we take the itchy sweater off for ourselves, guess what? We give other people the permission to take the itchy sweater off for themselves, and at the same time, we're able to not feel itchy anymore, which means we're going to be in a more peaceful and more collaborative, more aware, awakened, and state where we're not missing the little things that the mouse is telling us we're missing. It's really important. Okay, we can't see those things because we're so busy. Itch, 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 itch. I can't even see. So, okay, so we're gonna do the cards for the group. So Tracy, we're not quite there yet, but this is Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Light Oracle card deck that I love. This is one of my favorite decks. And also this deck, I have a brand new, very firm and not so bent over deck from the fabulous Chris Judd, who sent me a very unexpected present, and I love that. Look, they're not near as broken as my other sets, so I really appreciate having a new set. Took me a little bit to get them all seasoned in. But we're going to do the Work Your Life Oracle card today. So, deck today. So besides the Mouse, the Cardinal, and Gabrielle, what do we need to know for, moving through this time of Saturn and Pisces? And it says, listen, this is birthing a new age. This is birthing a new age. This is birthing new creations and dreaming a new world into being. What would your world look like if you were not so consumed with being itchy of the wool sweater? What if that stuff could go away? Because it can. What is being trying to be revealed and shown to you during this time of Saturn and Pisces? It's really, really important. All right, so then we have answering the call. This is a really strong message of, the through line here today. It says, what is your soul calling you to do? What is it? So Saturn is saying, hello, can you please pay attention? And again, this is not the thing of like, what do I need to release that's not serving me for my highest and best good? And again, I don't mean to be all sarcastic in my tone with that, but this is not the month of the airy-fairy, what do I need to release? This is the month of the very grounded, boots on the ground, what is it in real time, in the real world that is prickling you? That is your time to really take a look at that, okay? So this is because your soul is trying to push you. The universe is trying to push you, saying, wake up, you've got to make some changes here, okay? And it could be as simple as getting a new lawn guy. I mean, it's not a landscaper, he's just a mowing guy. So it could just be that simple. It doesn't have to be a mountain, but we tolerate. And so the not tolerating, not allowing, not permitting these places where we're just inadvertently giving our power away is the big message. And Saturn, again, is a powerhouse planet that's like the bulldozer through the solar system that says, hey, we're going to clean some shit up here. Okay? And so Saturn is really saying this is a time to take a look at what is on the ground that is affecting you on a daily basis and make some concrete changes. And this is not necessarily these big, sell your house, quit your job things. It's the little things that are being those itchy wool sweater moments for us. Tracy says, mine would be to travel the world, just not get the financial abundance yet. Okay, so have you asked the universe, how can I create that financial abundance? And Tracy, boots on the ground, have you looked at what would be your first stop? Do you want to do a cruise that goes to a bunch of European cities? Do you want to just fly across and get a Euro pass and travel around for a while? Like, what does that look like? Because when we say, and it's a beautiful thought, that's a great dream. Mine would be to travel the world, right? Okay, but you've not got the financial abundance yet. Okay, so one, we're claiming that we don't have the ability. But two, what steps are we taking to say, hey, I want to take this prickly sweater off and I want to start creating a plan. So have you thought about it? Like, where would you go? What would you do? What does that even cost? What does a plane ticket cost? What does, how do you want to do that? Because when we keep it as, I got a cat hair on my nose. When we keep it, hazards on my house. If we keep it as the dream and we never act on it, it will only ever be the dream. But if we want it to be something more, start giving yourself permission to not tolerate leaving it in the someday bucket and start bringing it into reality that says, okay, if I'm going to travel the world, where am I going? Where am I starting? Am I going to Europe? Am I going to South America? Am I going to Hawaii? Where do I want to start? And start putting some tangible things to it, Tracy. Give yourself permission to start taking those baby steps to make that dream a reality. It might take you a few years to get the money together to pay for it, okay? But if we don't know what it is we're doing and what it's going to cost, how are we ever supposed to figure out how to get there? Give yourself permission to put tangibility into that dream, okay? So the other card that I've been holding while I'm talking to Tracy and just answering her comment, because I know a lot of people feel like that. Well, if I only had the money, I would blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, what money do you need? What does that look like? Now, for some people have a lot of money, but if they only had time, energy, whatever, blah, fill in your blank, they would fill in the blank. So if money is not your issue, like, what is it? Give yourself permission to put some details and start putting a framework. If you've ever done a jigsaw puzzle, and probably everyone has, you generally start with the outside, right? We start with the edging, right? And then we can fill in the gaps, okay? So Tracy wants to travel the world. There's her edging. Okay. Now Tracy doesn't need a card because we've already given her all this channel information. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so the card I've been holding this whole time while I was talking to Tracy and answering her comment is the Warrior Woman. So I've been holding this whole time. It says, have you answered your deepest calling? And it just kills me because you can't make this stuff up. The cards are always paying attention. The cards are always listening. And the cards are always, always on our side, which is telling us that the cards are not, well, Jungians believe that everything has energy, and I do believe that. It's not that the cards are necessarily speaking to us, but that the universe, angels, guides, loved ones, all of that are speaking to us through the cards, okay? So the cards are exactly the right cards always because they're speaking through us, okay? They're speaking to us through us. The cards, they are little eavesdroppers, but they are helped by all the others that are helping to say, hey, little eavesdropper, this is the card that needs to come to the top, okay? So the cards don't lie. The cards are fueled by all of the stuff that's in spirit, okay? So we have birthing a new age, we have answering the call, and we have Warrior Woman. So there has been a very strong through-line message today with Saturn and Pisces, the mouse, what are you missing? The cardinal, getting yourself back in balance with your spiritual and your physical. Okay, what are we tolerating? What are we allowing? Let's get that itchy sweater off. And this is, again, a very grounded time to say, hey, and I know Saturn's a planet and Pisces is water, but this is a very grounded time that says, hey, what is it that we are tolerating in our lives that we need to reassess? Okay? Woo! That was a lot today. All right. A little hydration in there. Let's do some cards. All right. If you have already asked me for a card, you will need to ask again because I like to make sure everybody gets in the line fairly. Ask only one time, please. So if you got in there early and you didn't realize we weren't there yet, please do ask again. But just put the comment in there one time so that it is time for individual card readings. We'll do what we can. I know that went on a little long today with the information that was coming through from Spirit, but boy, it felt important because I just could feel this tension in my throat. There was just like stuff had to come out, like stuff there. So, all right. I'm gonna do Instagram first because I did a little bit on Facebook, and there's always fewer people on Instagram. So let me do Instagram first, and I see all these wonderful comments. We're gonna come right back over here. So we have for Crancelina, and this is Trust Your Path. It said, if you knew you would be supported, what would you do? Okay, so this is real, again, confirmation of that whole thing, is it is absolutely time for you to take that control and to say, hey, what is it I really, really want in my heart? And I'm giving myself permission to go forwards with that. I'm giving myself permission to act on it. So much of what we said for Tracy about if Europe or traveling the world is her dream, what does that look like? This is really giving yourself permission to say, what does that look like for you as well? So give yourself permission to go forward. Trust that you are absolutely on the right path. Because here's the thing, there's not a wrong path. There's not a wrong path. If we go and sometimes like we got to make a U-turn, then we make a U-turn. It is not the end of the world. If you've ever been driving, and I'm sure you've all had this experience where you see somebody who really wasn't sure where they were going, and all of a sudden they cut all the way across traffic because they have to make a turn right at this intersection because God forbid they go up to the next one and make a U-turn and then go, we cannot have, we have some sort of aversion, and especially in this day and age with GPS, if you miss the turn, it's going to tell you to make a legal U-turn and go around and come back. So if you didn't make a left right here because you don't want to kill other people, you go up, you make a U-turn, you make a right. It's all okay. There's no such thing as a wrong turn. You just didn't turn where they told you to originally, so you're going to turn at the next one. Trust your path. You are okay, because if you didn't go in the right direction, they're going to tell you from spirit, make a legal U-turn. So just trust that you're going the right direction, because you are. All right. Wow. All right. Let's go back over on, I bet on I-95. I know how those people drive down there. Let me go back over here. All right. So we've got Sharon and Stacy and Melissa is our first. So, and then you've got Stephen. I see your name poking up in there. So it was so nice to see you the other day. All right, Sharon. It's so nice to, I got to see Sharon was kind enough to share with me a talk that she had done about reincarnation. It was so wonderful to see. So Sharon, this is interesting. This is a mirror, the mirror card. It says, what is it that's triggering you? So really, this is that same wool sweater that says, hey, what is it that is being a wool sweater for you? Okay. So Sharon, really take a minute to take a look at this and say, because some of us are really go along, get along people. That's not me. Makes me say some people are go along, get along people. That's not my strongest point, and I know that about myself, right? If I'm seeing injustice or something, I tend to stand and speak of it. So, and that's just me, and that's okay. But sometimes we are go along, get along, or we don't want to make waves, or we don't want to rock a boat, and so therefore we're missing those things that are triggering us. And so Sharon, this card is saying like, hey, listen, it's important to take a look and say, really, what is it that's being the sweater for you, okay? And that give yourself permission to say, what is underneath this? Why is this triggering me? And what can I do about it, okay? Give yourself permission, because as you see, it's the mirror, but it's the water, okay? So she's looking into the water, and you have this beautiful reflection, but look a little deeper, okay? Deeper is really what they're talking about, is what is underneath it that? Why is this triggering you, and what can be shifted so you can take off the itchy wool sweater, okay? All right, Stacy Claxton, you are very welcome, my friend. All right, Stacy Claxton. We've got, this is the yes card, just say yes. And so we have this yes card, okay, and this, we have the pyramid going up, we have the sages, the women, and trusting. And if you'll notice, the light is getting bigger as we go up. Okay, so this is trusting your intuition, Stacy. This is trusting your higher guidance. It's trusting that you are being led, guided, and supported as you're going forward. So wherever that cross in the road is for you, they're saying to you, listen, trust us, go forward and say yes. And sometimes that's a little bit scary, because we might be saying yes to like new things, new people, new something. Okay, so it is, and it is time for you to just give yourself that permission. So Sharon says she does try to avoid confrontation and rather go along than fight. We don't have to fight, but you can offer insight. Okay, we don't have to get our claws out when something needs to change. We can simply say, this is not working for me. Or sometimes we just have to abandon the ship and say, I'm not available to participate in this. We don't need to make a justification. We don't need to make a reason. We don't need to say why. And this is a thing, especially for women. We, often feel like we need, because, it's a full sentence. I'm not available to participate in this. That's all. Okay? Thank you for inviting me. I'm not available. We don't need to have a justification. And sometimes we can just walk away. What is it they call it? Quiet quitting? Right? Okay. Stacy, you are welcome. Melissa. Hello. All right. For Melissa, we have I have to say, all of these cards are coming in upside down, but this particular deck does not have an upside down. So just so if you're noticing. So for Melissa, this is Priestess. It says, how are you being called to step up and lead? So Melissa, this is really about trusting your inner wisdom. This is about trusting your guidance. This is about speaking, finding your inner truth and finding your authenticity, right? And allowing your inner truth to be seen, okay? So Melissa, this is very much about trusting that guidance and allowing the inner strength to come, but it is so much about finding that. So finding your priestess, like it's like finding your inner Supergirl, okay? Who is that? What does that look like? And how is that empowering you? Because if you look, she's standing in her little Supergirl. She's got her priestess stuff going on, but she's standing in her Supergirl, okay? So this is really about trusting yourself to find and stand in your inner Supergirl, okay? How are you being called to step up and lead? Okay, so this is really about getting your strength grounded, attached to the bottom, attached to the top, right? To light, source, spirit, Mother Earth, Gaia. Stand in your truth. Stand in your space. Reclaim your power. Find your power. It doesn't feel like a reclaim. It feels like a find. Like stepping into the truth of who you are. Authenticity. All right, Steve, and then Tracy. Okay, Steve. Stephen, deep replenishment, retreat, rest, and be held. Deep replenishment. Now, we just talked about some stuff because I just saw you the other day. So I'm feeling very reluctant to elaborate on this because I kind of feel like it goes right with what we talked about the other day. And retreat, rest, and be held. Deep replenishment. And I do want to say, like, when you look at this card, this really looks like this beautiful hand that's here, okay? It's just that allowing of that rejuvenation and that receiving. And so I want to just hold it so you can really take it in for a minute, okay? Because I just feel like this is a real confirmation card for some of the things that we talked about the other day. So I will leave that there for you. Melissa says, I love it. Thank you so much. You are very welcome. Very, very welcome. All right. I don't like to, if you come and talk to me, everything we talk about is confidential. We don't share anything. But if you come talk to me and then you're here on a Monday and you get a card that is confirmation of everything we just talked about, I have to tell you that's a confirmation card. All right. So we have Tracy, boundaries. Now, Tracy kind of got a double whammy today. Boundaries. So, Tracy, because you've got so much before about the traveling part, this feels tied into it, okay? And so this feels like there may be somebody around you who is kind of doing this on that dream that you have. And so this feels like it's really about, maybe we have to keep our dreams to ourselves while we sort it out, figure it out, start planning, start doing a little internet research, okay? Give yourself the permission to expand your boundary, but be aware that you might need to boundary somebody else. Does that make sense? Okay? Boundaries. Because this is feeling like a whole lot of people want to have something to say about the stuff that, you want have going on for yourself. And this is saying, no, the only voice that you're listening to is yours and this one, right? This is the voice that matters. Okay? Heart, head, spirit, soul, this one. These voices, they don't matter, okay? The rules we have in my house, you don't pay my bills, you don't get no vote, okay? So you don't get to come in and tell us how we live our lives because you don't pay the bills here, okay? And so that goes with, energetic and emotional boundaries too. If you're not part of the inner circle, you don't get a vote, okay? And this goes with, whose voices are we listening to? Like, do we really care what that person thinks? And so I'm just going to keep using the example of the art guys, right? Do I really care in the long term what those guys think of me? I don't. They're nice. They did a nice job for a long time. Then they didn't, and it got to be a real pain in my butt. And I'm sure I got to be a pain in their butt. And do I care what they think as they move along onto the next part of their journey? No, I don't. They're not my friends. They worked for us. I don't care. And when we get caught up in that, we break the boundary. And so this for all of us. Let go of caring what people who don't get a vote have to say. They don't pay my bills. They don't get a vote. Okay? All right. Steve, yes, confirmation. Yes. I knew you would see that card and know exactly. All right, so we have, where were we? That was Tracy. Catherine. Catherine's turn. So, Catherine. And then we have Beth and Belinda. All right, so Catherine, align your life. What is not aligned and what is ready to change? So this is the real Saturn Pisces moment for you as well. And it's a real through line, right? We're all seeing this. Like, what is it that we need to let go of, and who do we need to let go of for these things that are percolating? Okay, so Catherine, what is it that's being, and I feel like I'm saying, and I don't mean to say the same message for everybody, but it is really Saturn is a powerhouse planet. So Catherine, what is being that itchy sweater that feels so out of alignment for you? And give yourself permission to say, I don't want that anymore. And I'm willing to let it go, to come back into myself and to come back into that alignment. Okay? All right, Beth and Belinda. All right. Beth and Belinda and Chris. Chris, if you have been following along, Chris is a talented, amazing musician and singer. She's an incredible piano player who treated herself to a new piano that she finally opened the box for today. I'm going to brag on her because I can't wait for us to know more about how the piano is coming together, as this has been a real milestone moment, and so I just want to take a minute to celebrate her, even though it's Beth's turn for a card. So, Beth Boyd, I'm so happy to see your name pop up, Beth Boyd. So this says things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. This is transformation. This is transformation. But here's the thing with this card, Beth. She's sitting on her own golden throne. She is in control. She is calling the shots. She's got her scepter and her orb, like the Queen of England, okay? And she is calling the shots. And she is sitting there calm, collected, and saying, this is what I want. She's got the light of the moon that's behind her saying, I have all the power, everything I need is right here for me to design how I am going forward. So Beth, this is a real confirmation card that says you have everything. Because look at all the light that is coming off. Can you see all the light, the little lines that are coming off the sun or the moon that's behind her? You have everything that you need. Okay, sorry. My Chihuahua sits, if you have been with me a really long time, you remember Toby sitting in my desk drawer. So that was Bo and my Chihuahua. My husband is feeding. He just said, I gotta go, Mom, I gotta go. So Beth, you have everything that you need to create the changes in your life that you want. Okay, trust yourself, trust spirit, trust that you are being guided, and know that you have everything at your fingertips. Literally at your fingertips, you have everything you need to create the changes that you are seeking. Okay? The piano has no screws with which to assemble it, which is okay because there are no instructions either. Well, good luck. Having never put together a piano before other than sticking the legs on it, I'm not really sure that I would even know what would be involved in assembling a piano. So, good luck. I think that's why I'm so curious to see the journey. All right, Belinda, and then Chris, we have Belinda. This is take a break. A life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. Belinda, give yourself some space. Give yourself some time away. Give yourself the permission to get quiet and to seek quiet, okay? Give yourself permission to go out of the house, out of the big house, out of the tunnel, and into something that is where peace is, okay? Belinda, give yourself permission to walk away. Give yourself permission to walk away from things that are not serving you. Give yourself permission to say, I need some space, so that you can recharge your own batteries, you can refill your cup. And if you can see her, she's right down there at the bottom. Come here. Right down there at the bottom, standing in the water with her arms open wide. Can you see it? Okay, saying, ah. Okay, so Belinda, give yourself some space. You earned it. You deserve it. Okay? All right. You are welcome. You are welcome, Beth. You are welcome, Catherine. You are very welcome, Tracy. All right, so we've got Chris and Brenda. I see you. Did you want a card, Brenda? All right, we've got Chris. Ooh, jumpy cards. Jumpy card, Chris Jed. This is Anna, the grandmother of Jesus, says, seeding the light. Oh, I love this. I love this. So Chris and I were texting before, because Chris manages my website. She's on my content team. And and we were texting before we got on, and this says, Anna, grandmother of Jesus, it says, seeding the light, laying the foundations of the divine plan. And so, you know, I think that is the most confirmation of confirmation cards that I could give you of the things that we were talking about before you got online. So one big project is finished, and new projects are immediately flooding in, and this is very, very exciting. So the divine plan, laying the foundations, seeing the light. I love this card for you. Absolutely love this card. You are so being protected, lifted, guided, directed, and she is overseeing all. And I just absolutely love this for you. So, Belinda, you are so welcome. You are so welcome. Brenda, you are so welcome. Also, I love seeing your name pop up. Brenda and I have been friends since I'm about 12 years old, I think. And if you talk to our other friend, please just let her know lots of love. She doesn't have to come from me. Just let her know lots of love. Okay? All right. So let's do one more card for the collective to wrap it up. I am hoping you all are having a marvelous Labor Day. This is September. There will be price increases in September. There will be a few. There will be a Monday we will not be together because of the Jewish holy days are in September. And so just watch the posts to know if we're going to be together or we won't be together. And so I think it's to the second part of the month for sure that there's a Monday that's a Jewish holiday, so I won't be here. But do know that you can book your sessions with me. If you missed the live video, you can find it on YouTube anytime. And still trying to figure out if we're moving in that direction because that feels like a pull. And just stay safe and give yourself the space and the ability to look at what is causing the itchy wool sweater for you in your life and give yourself permission to take it off, okay? Because we don't have to worry so much about what other people think. We don't have to tolerate things in our space, in our inner circle that are not working for us. So give yourself that grace, okay? This card is the last card. It says, in Rama, where are you being called to journey to? So this is telling us it is time for us to make some changes. That Rama is one of the utopia, peaceful places that is the goal. So where are we trying to go that makes our lives a bit better? Because we've taken control and decided we were willing to take the journey in Rama. And so shall it be. So know that you are loved. You are loved. You are loved. You are loved. There's a lot of fun, exciting things. Hit enter too soon. Visit sharing. Thank you very much, Chris Judd. There are a lot of exciting things that are coming through the pipeline that are in the process that we are starting to get moving, and there's a lot of really fun, exciting things that are coming up. If you have not already purchased your Unspooling the DNA class, please do head over to my website and get that, because you know it is $30 for the class. It is an hour that can totally change your life. So don't miss it. I love you. Happy Labor Day. We'll see you next week. Mwah. Know that you are loved.